no one that you might be coming down with one of those. On Friday, when it was universally assumed you were tucked up in bed with a temperature, you were on the early morning Pan Am flight to Sydney from Auckland Airport. You'd be sorted out by that evening and back at school on Monday, still feeling not 100% thanks, but a lot better, coming right. Dad was a postman and Mum a small town librarian. I still don't know how they scraped the money together, but I see now that the circumstances left them with no alternative. By circumstances, I mean my particular ones, which even by the standards of fallen schoolgirls were vertiginous. You needed extra money for the accommodation in Sydney if you didn't have someone to stay with over there. I did have someone, my mother's oldest friend, Heather something. I was going to stay with Heather, who was going to take me to the clinic and pick me up afterwards and keep an eye on me until she could drop me off at Sydney Airport on Sunday morning for the flight home. The night before the flight, my mother and I stayed in a motel just a few steps away from the runway. At least that's how it felt. I dreamt of staring out the plane window at the necklace of ruby tail lights across the city counterpane below. I'd never been in the air. I don't know how I knew to dream this. I dreamed, too, of watching enormous engines tumbling from the armpits of jet planes, crashing through the motel roof, through the bedroom's glittered ceiling, all the rage in the 70s, and onto my bed, onto me, entirely missing my mother, snoring fitfully in the other bed. We'd arrived at the motel after dark, around 8 o'clock, I think. We'd eaten dinner before leaving home. "May as well, Rhonda," my father had said to Mum, unable to look at me. He hadn't looked at me for weeks. Save having to find something to eat so late in the city. I heard the way his words caught in the back of his throat. My mother drove into the motel car park, hunched herself over the steering wheel, and squinted through the darkness to find the office. There was nothing to distinguish it from the other parts of the squat, utilitarian breeze block building, except a single bare light bulb, burning strong above the bug-screened door. It was raining, just a misty drizzle. She inched the car into a space far from the glowing light. There was only one other vehicle in the entire car park, and she parked so close to it I couldn't open my door to get out. "Stay there," she said. "I'll go in and sort it out." So much sorting to be sorted. The burn of her shame coloured my face as I clicked my door shut again and she walked away. She returned to the car in silence, but her face mirrored mine. There we were, two glowing Lowrys. Yet I was cold. I remember that. I remember the chill of that late autumn night, the way it soaked my bones. The room key glinted in the clutch of her fist as she started the car and reversed it out of the space. I tried to guess which unit door might be ours. She swung the car in a wide half-circle, then pulled back in just a few spaces further along from our former park. "We could have walked," I laughed. "It's not even raining that hard." "I'll unlock the door. You wait here." She ignored my cruelty, reaching behind to grab her overnight bag from the back seat before turning to face me. Her eyes were wide and she was wetting her lips with her tongue again and again, as though slightly mad with thirst. The grossness of this made me feel like hating her. She breathed in sharply, as if to say more, but no words followed. The flush was fading from her cheeks. The truth of it was, she was frightened of me, of being tainted by me, of being seen with me at this motel organised for us by the Sisters Overseas Service, the stealthy network of women who had stepped up to organise the trips to Sydney following the closure of the Auckland clinic. I woke before the 5 o'clock alarm the next morning, hungry, eyeing the chili bin in the corner of the room. My mother had packed cereal, milk, and bottled peaches. Exactly 4 tea bags, although it wasn't clear whether she intended to use them all. I usually had Milo. There was no Milo in the bin. But then there was nothing usual about this excursion. From where I was looking, her shame clouded every moment, dictated her every action. Of course she'd packed a breakfast we'd not eat in public. There was a box full of tea bags on the tiny kitchen bench. We would not be using tea bags sponsored by the SOS. We would leave no trace of having been here in this underground